at that time, I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I knew that the artist that was there when I was originally asked to speak was not there when I was actually brought on. And they had brought on another girl to kind of play her role, and I had to work with her. Well, long story short, we're doing all these tours and we're getting booed everywhere we go.
Oh.
And I'm wondering why we get booed, everywhere we go. And it's really because this girl is not really up to par, and the manager kind of was trying to put something together and it wasn't really coming together the right way. But then we went to a conference called Jack the Rapper. And it was the first time I had ever went to like a music conference, went to this conference. So while I'm at this conference, it just so happened that what I was doing at that time is I also had a little brother who had like a little pantomime group. They did New Edition. But I kind of felt like they could really sing, but I didn't really know. So I got a chance to meet a gentleman named Brooke Payne, who was over New Edition, and I got an opportunity to be around him during the course of that event. And I also got to meet a lot of different executives and different people in the industry. And while I'm hanging out with Brooke, I'm like, he's asking me like, do you know a photographer? And I'm like, yeah, here goes my friend. She does that. And then she ends up shooting pictures for him for New Edition. And then he's like, so can you do this? And I'll go, yeah. And I would just be like, whatever he needed. I was just excited to be around him and in the atmosphere around him. And what led to that is I ended up, one day I'm walking through the hallway and this gentleman stops me. He said, what do you do with New Edition? I said, I don't do nothing with New Edition. I'm just here from Chicago trying to, learn the business. And, and Brooke is letting me hang out with him and giving me an opportunity. He said, so you don't work with them? I said, no. He's like, you're from Chicago? I said, yeah. He said, I'm from Chicago. I said, oh, wow. He said, what? I said, where you work at? He said, well, I work at Capitol now, but I'm about to go to work at A&M Records. And I would love to talk to you when I get back to Chicago. I said, okay, well, fine. I mean, that'd be cool. So I didn't hear from him right away. And then one day I just get a call out the blue. And he said, come on to the office. I want you to come out here and, and I came out to the office, and the very first day he was like, well, you're going to be my intern, and you're going to be, kind of, working the streets for me, and you're going to be, going around to the clubs, and you're going to, also, I'll open some, I'll let you participate with me with certain situations, which also kind of led to me, getting the opportunity to meet a lot of great artists, and it put me in a lot of great situations with these artists, but it was funny because the very first day he was like, "You're in theater, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, I want you to get on the phone and start requesting this record." And I was like, why did you ask me if I was in theater? He like, because I want you to kind of like, you might have to change your voice up a little bit or whatever. So I'm like on the phone, like, will you request, this is my record. Well, you I'm requesting the record, I'm changing my voice up. And I'm laughing at myself the whole time that I'm doing it because I just, I didn't know that was a big thing, at that time, that they wanted to kind of check and see if people had their record, if they were playing the record. It was just doing a research and doing, and finding out. So, they didn't want it to seem like it came from the label. And so,
yeah, absolutely.
So that was kind of like my very first position, but also, one of the stories I love to tell that's attached to that is the very first record I had to push that he gave me. I had to go to the clubs with. It was an artist named Overweight Pooch. which was a big girl standing next to a refrigerator on her album cover.
Right.
And I'm looking at that going, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to push this record. And, because it wasn't one of the new records. It wasn't one of the most popular records. And then I of course, I'm young. So I got everybody, you want to push the hottest stuff. You want to push what you think is fly. And I just didn't think a girl standing next to a refrigerator was fly.
Right.
Album cover. I just didn't believe that. I just not, and no pun intended. It's just that's not what I would have thought was presentational. So I just felt a little certain way about that. But I was out. I didn't want to give up, and I didn't want him to think I was not gonna complete the job. So I'm running around all these clubs. I really don't have a game plan or a strategy. Now this goes back to the analogy I was giving you about the mental. Mm-hmm. If your mental ain't right going in, the music is not gonna get to where it's going, and your strategy isn't there. You're not gonna get to the right people, which is your team, and you're not gonna execute, and your presentation is gonna be terrible. Right. So, I luckily one day I built a relationship with one of the DJs, and he was like, "Kevin, I see you running around here with this record. Let me hear that record." And he listened to the record, and then he took 2 or 3 other records, and he did what we call A/B the record, which is when you A/B a record, that means that you find the records that work well with this record. So when you see somebody on a turntable, they got like this system where they know the BPMs on it. Mm-hmm. They know exactly what the vibe is, and then they know, okay, this record works well with this record in my blend or in my mix or whatever the case may be, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he found the records that work with my record. He said, and he told me, he said, these are the records that when you go to the club, mention that this record works well with this record, and then that will allow them to get it in the rotation.
Right.
And so he took 10 of my records, he gave them to DJs and told them, and then I went to clubs and I came with this whole new mindset, mm-hmm. which now gave me a different strategy. And then all of a sudden you just started to see this record getting spun, and my boss is like, "Oh wow, how did you do that?" I'm like, I built a relationship with a DJ. Like, that's why I brought you on.
Right. Because he was hoping that you would be able to find ways, creative, obviously, ways.
Exactly. So it was like, but it also brings up the point that I wanted to make in telling that story, which is relationship. This industry is about relationship. There is no one moving forward, gaining success without relationships. Right. And so you only survive because of your relationship. So anything that I've accomplished up to this point in my career, any accolades I received, I didn't receive them because I was doing all this amazing stuff on my own. I had great relationships with great people who put me in good situations.
Yeah. This the real one, baby. I'm telling you. Chi-town stand up. Come on. And when it all falls down. Come on. And when it falls down.
You are listening to the Get Global Network podcast of the Ask-Avani Show. You can hear the show live on Saturdays at 3 p.m. in London, 9 a.m. Central Time in the U.S. on SoMetro Radio, one of the original member stations of the Get Global Network.
Wow, fantastic. Can I ask you, because you have mentioned earlier about how it is so important to have a very strong mental attitude, how have you dealt with any times of stress? Obviously, that was one of them in the beginning when you were trying to market that record. Pressure, negativity. Is there anything that you could give as an advice to say how you could deal with it if you come up against a brick wall?
Yeah, I deal with it a lot. And I'll share a story that goes along with that. how I met my mentor was I was reading a magazine about this man, and I read he was the president of MCA Records. He helped Patti LaBelle. He worked with Gladys Knight. He helped New Edition. Oh, New Edition. Oh, okay. So, but then the line that really got me was, I love working with young up and coming executives. And I took a pause and I went, oh my God, where are you at? Like, I need you right now. Because I was making this, at this point in my career, I was making a ton of mistakes and I didn't have good mentors. I didn't have no one around me to say, this is the wrong way to do it. Kevin, I see your passion. I see your energy. I see your focus, but I think your decision making and the things you're doing is wrong. Okay. And so to have somebody that I felt could be that person would be everything to me. So one day of course, every year I would volunteer to be the main showcase and panel person for this conference in Chicago called the MRMA, which was the Midwest Radio and Music Business Conference. And all these record labels would fly in every year from all over the country, and they would come in and bring artists and bring everything. And so it was my way to get to know a lot of these executives and a lot of these people. So imagine my mindset when we're at a luncheon and my DJ is playing records, and then this record rep walks up to me and she goes, will you play this record for me? And I said, what's the record? She says, Love Overboard by Gladys Knight. Mm-hmm. So I play the record and I keep playing the record for her. She asked me 2 or 3 times if I play the record. I said, yeah, no problem. Ain't nobody in the lunchroom so I played it. And then out of nowhere, she says, can you follow me? I have someone who really, really wants to meet you. Right. And I walk over and it's him sitting in the seat. And I'm frozen. I don't know what to do. I immediately, my eyes water because I'm just overwhelmed. I just can't believe I prayed for this and it happened, and I really, and he's right there and he's like, hey, how are you doing? And I want to thank you for playing my record, and what's your name? And I said, my name is Kevin, and and all like this. He's like, I'm Ernie. I'm like, I know who you are. I know who you are.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I want you to come eat lunch with me. And all like this. And so I'm like, for real? Like, yeah. And he invited me and I was babbling the whole time. We were eating lunch and he just talked, he calmed down and he settled me down and I didn't know what to talk about. I was nervous, but he seen something in me. He stayed in touch with me. He would call me randomly. And then out of the blue one day, he called me and he said he had been to a dinner with some very influential people. And someone said something very negative about me. And he said, at that point in time when they did it, he listened to them, but he said, I looked at their spirit. Mm-hmm. And he said, it made me call you on the phone, and it made me say to you that all I see is a kid who needs some direction. Wow. And I don't think that it's fair that if you're in a position where you know better and someone doesn't know better, that you would use that against them.
Right. Of course not.
If you see somebody doing something that you think is wrong, you could change it just by letting them know what they did. Mm-hmm. You could help them better understand how to get better at what they're doing but if your goal is to destroy them, then you're going to make it your business to put that out there.
Right.
And so
karma.
And so he said, what I want you to know is I'm not letting no one destroy you. Wow. I have your back. and you have my name if you need it. If somebody say something to you, tell them you're Ernie's kid. Tell you with